characteristics of musical sound. Sound is of two types. Number one, musical sound. Number two, noise. Musical sound and noise. When teacher is teaching in the class and teacher gets disturbed, then teacher says, don't make a noise. We will never say, or she will never say, don't make musical sound. Okay? The musical sound is that sound which produces pleasant effect on the human ear. Which the sound which you would like to hear again and again. Okay? And noise is that sound which produces displeasure, unpleasant effect on human ear. Okay? Now what is the difference between musical sound and noise? The first difference, the musical sound produces pleasant effect. On human ear. And sound is this noise. Noise is that sound which produces this pleasant effect. Second difference, when there is a musical sound, the sound pulse occurs after a regular interval of time. The pulses, sound pulses, they are taking place at regular interval. And in case of noise, these sound pulses, they are at an irregular interval. Means, in case of musical sound, there can be sudden increase in the amplitude. In case of musical sound, there is no sudden change. But in case of noise, there is sudden change in the amplitude of the sound. Okay? So here, third point of difference between musical sound and noise is, there is no sudden change in amplitude. Here, sudden change in amplitude. Okay. Second difference I told you, sound pulses occur at regular interval of time. Here, sound pulses occur at irregular interval. So there are three main differences between musical sound and noise. Musical sound produces pleasant effect on human ear, whereas noise produces displeasant effect. Displeasure. You would not like to listen noise. Okay? Number two, in case of musical sound, sound pulses which are generated by the sounding body. It may be a speaker, it may be some musical instrument. Musical instrument always produces musical sound. It is not necessary. For example, somebody is playing on harmonium and that doesn't know how to play harmonium. ओके, तो आप कहेंगे यार क्या क्या अपने बजा रहा, तेरे को नहीं आता, बंद कर देना इसको, बिकॉज यू डोंट लाइक इट इज प्रोड्यूसिंग अनप्लेजेंट इफेक्ट ऑन योर ह्यूमन ईयर. जिसको बंसरी बजानी नहीं आती, मैन हू डजंट नो हाउ टू प्ले द फ्लूट, और उसको आप बंसरी दे दो, वो कोई पर्टिकुलर वो नोट नहीं निकालेगा, तो साउंड पल्सेस रेगुलर इंटरवल पे नहीं आएंगी. ओके, तो आप कहेंगे यार तेरे को नहीं आता बजाना, बंद कर दो, अच्छा नहीं लगेगा सुनने वालों को, तो उसको नॉइस बोला जाएगा. ओके, अब इन दोनों को अगर कंबाइन कर दिया जाए तो वॉइस है. वॉइस मे बी नॉइस, इट मे बी म्यूजिकल साउंड. ओके, if you like that voice, it is a musical sound. If you don't like, it becomes a noise. Okay, so it will produce irritation in the mind of the listener. उसका अच्छा नहीं लगेगा. Unpleasant effect, displeasant effect. Okay. Secondly, sounding body, which is producing noise, will send sound pulses at irregular interval of time. Whereas any sounding body, any musical instrument which is producing musical sound will create sound pulses which will be transmitted at regular interval of time. Get my point? And in case of sound, musical sound, there will be no sudden increase or decrease in the amplitude of the wave. Whereas in case of noise, there will be sudden change, sudden increase or sudden decrease in the amplitude of the wave. Got my point? So this is difference between musical sound and noise. Then I am taking characteristics of musical sound. How musical sound can be identified? Musical sound. Sound which will produce pleasant effect on human ear, number one. Number two, sound in which sound pulses are created at regular interval of time. Number three, musical sound is that sound which will have no sudden increase or decrease in the amplitude of the wave. Okay, so the musical sound has three characters. Number one, loudness. Loudness is related to intensity. It is relative. Intensity is not equal to loudness, but they are related to each other. Number two, pitch. It is related to frequency. Pitch is not equal to frequency, but pitch is related to pitch is related to frequency, not equal to frequency. Number three, quality. Quality, it is also called timbre. Quality of musical sound. These are the three characteristics of a musical sound. Okay? Loudness. The human ear can listen sound of minimum intensity This has been given a special name, threshold of hearing. The minimum intensity of sound to which human ear will give response. अगर sound की intensity से कम है, intensity sound is less than this, the human ear perhaps may not be in a position to give response. सुनाई नहीं देगा. Even if the listener is perfectly, biologically perfect in listening, उसका कान बिल्कुल सही है, there is no defect in human ear. Okay, a perfect human ear will give response to minimum this intensity of sound. You know intensity. Intensity is energy crossing per unit time per unit area. Energy crossing per second per unit area, that is intensity. Energy crossing per second per unit area means how much energy is falling per second on human ear per unit area. Okay, person is not hard of hearing. Person is perfect biologically as far as the hearing part of the human body is concerned. उसका कान बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है. डॉक्टर कह देता है ये बिल्कुल परफेक्ट है, इसके कान में कोई डिफेक्ट नहीं है. हम ऐसे पर्सन की बात कर रहे हैं. ओके, तो साउंड इज एनर्जी which produces in human ear sensation of hearing. Okay, and human ear has a property, it can respond to minimum this intensity. That's for -12 watt per meter square. This is the minimum intensity to which human ear responses. This is called threshold of hearing. This is I naught. And this is intensity will be represented by I. Okay, how much energy is falling per second per unit area of human ear? Okay, yeah, any surface which is receiving sound energy, how much sound energy is falling on the surface per second per unit area? Whenever you receive sound energy, if there is a speaker, let's say TV is on, there is a musical sound, the sound released by the speaker is falling on your whole body. But there are certain portion of the body which act as a good absorber. If you are wearing pullover or you are in a quilt, रज़ाई के अंदर है, sound will be incident on, it will be absorbed. If you are speaking, singing a song, and in a direction where there is an open window, okay, whatever sound is being transmitted in this direction will go out. As if it is absorbed, it will not be reflected. Okay, and where you have a thick curtain, and sound is falling on the curtain. Curtain is a good absorber of sound. The person who are fatty हो, जो मोटे आदमी है, मान लो कपड़े कम डाल रखे हैं, समर सीजन, साउंड पड़ेगी, absorb हो जाएगी. आप सोफे पर हैं, okay, whatever part will be exposed to sound, that part of the sofa will absorb the sound. There will be no reflection. But if you are on a फट्टा seat, लकड़ी का है, okay, and whichever part is exposed to sound, that part will reflect sound. There will be reflection. In a room, when I am speaking, my sound is going on the walls also. If I speak like this, the roof will get the sound, and they will reflect. Okay? So if you want to construct a big hall, meeting place, conference room, auditorium, and whosoever civil engineer will try to construct, he will have to keep in mind many factors. There should be no reflection. कई बार इको बड़ा हाल है, इको सुनाई देती है. A person receives direct sound as well as reflected sound. Direct sound भी आ रही है, कान में जा रही है, और रिफ्लेक्ट होकर भी जा रही है. Same person is receiving two sounds simultaneously. One direct from the speaker, another reflected sound. If that observer is able to differentiate that this is a direct sound and this is a reflected sound, then that person will hear echo. उसको गूंज सुनाई देगी. Okay, and if you make such arrangement, the person will receive only direct sound, no reflection within the hall. Either you make use of thick curtains, make use of sofa, okay, and put absorber in the walls, sound absorber. Then the chance of reflection of sound is eliminated. Every listener sitting in the hall will see direct sound, no echo. Got my point? So I'm talking about the characteristics of musical sound. Musical sound which will produce pleasant effect. You would like to hear again and again. And this type of sound is characterized by 3 factors: loudness, pitch, quality. Loudness level is there, otherwise there will be noise pollution. कई बार होता है कि noise pollution हो गई. Noise pollution क्या मतलब? जो साउंड आप प्लेजेंट इफेक्ट पैदा करती है उसके साथ ऐसी साउंड भी है जो अनप्लेजेंट इफेक्ट पैदा कर रही है. या आपने लाउडनेस लेवल, मिनिमम लेवल जो कितना होना चाहिए, ठीक है, ह्यूमन ईयर जो उसको रिस्पांस देगा, तब उसको नॉइस पोल्यूशन नहीं माना जाएगा. जैसे कई बार आप रोड पे जा रहे हैं and somebody is driving some vehicle using a horn, producing such a sound which nobody likes. होली के फेस्टिवल में आप देखेंगे ऐसा, वो बजाते हैं हॉर्न, एकदम घबरा जाता है, उसको नॉइस पोल्यूशन बोलते हैं. हाँ, आपने लाउड स्पीकर लगा रखा है. लाउड स्पीकर अगर लाउडनेस लेवल बहुत ज़्यादा है तो नॉइस पोल्यूशन होगा. आप कहेंगे यार कान फट रहा है, इसको थोड़ा वॉल्यूम कम कर दो. करते हैं कि नहीं? तो loudness, intensity, how they are related to each other. Loudness, minimum intensity to which human ear can give response, वो ये है. It is threshold of hearing, otherwise intensity is energy crossing per second per unit area. And if you take SI system, you will take energy in joule, time in second, and area in meter scale. Joule per second will be converted into watt. So intensity unit will be watt per meter scale. Okay. So this is threshold of hearing, minimum intensity to which human ear will give response. And this is the intensity otherwise, which may be less than this or equal to this or more than this. Okay, and you also know intensity, what are the factors on which intensity will depend. It is 2 pi square, n square, a square, rho v. That means intensity is proportional to frequency whole scale. It is proportional to amplitude whole scale. It is proportional to density of medium through which sound is being transmitted. Okay. Directly proportional to surface area of sounding body. Surface area of the sounding body. Take school bell, the size of school bell, how much is the surface area of the school bell. That school bell is beaten by a hammer, sound is produced, that sound is transmitted in the whole school. Whenever there is a switch over of period from one period to another, एक पीरियड से दूसरे पीरियड में जब स्विचिंग ओवर होती है तो आप बेल बजाते हैं. ओके, और जब बेल होती है, बेल के सरफेस एरिया कितना है, और हैमर जिससे आप बेल को स्ट्राइक करते हैं, साउंड जनरेट करते हैं, तो हाउ हार्ड यू हिट द मेटालिक बेल, ठीक है ना, एंड हाउ मच इज द सरफेस एरिया, दैट इज आल्सो गोइंग टू डिसाइड द इंटेंसिटी ऑफ द साउंड जनरेटिंग. surface area of the sounding body. So here n is the frequency, a is the amplitude, not the surface area, is amplitude. Then density of the medium and the speed with which sound is being transmitted. And the speed of sound doesn't depend upon the source of sound. Irrespective of sounding body, sound will have the same speed. Okay, but whenever there is a change in medium, then there will be change in the speed. In air, speed of sound is 332 meter per second at STP. 332 meter per second. The sound may be generated by any source, but the speed of sound will be same. It will not depend upon what is the source of sounding body. Clear? So here intensity. Why I am taking intensity? Because intensity is related to loudness. Loudness is one of the three characteristics of musical sound. And this is the threshold of hearing, minimum intensity which can be audible by human ear. अगर इससे कम इंटेंसिटी होगी साउंड की, your ear may be 100% biologically perfect but will not give response. इससे कम इंटेंसिटी वाली साउंड ह्यूमन ईयर सुन ही नहीं सकता. तो therefore जो साउंड which you can hear when it is musical sound, intensity must be greater than threshold of hearing. Case 1. Case 2, if intensity is less than I0, the sound will not be audible. Okay? So it will be very much audible. बहुत अच्छी तरह सुनाई देगी if intensity is more than the threshold of hearing. Third case, when intensity of the sound is less than the threshold of hearing, it is not audible. सुनाई नहीं देगी.
सर सेकंड केस क्या है?
सेकंड ये है, सॉरी, सेकंड क्या बोला? ऑडिबल, जस्ट ऑडिबल. यस, जस्ट ऑडिबल. ये क्रिटिकल हो गया ना थ्रेशोल्ड ऑफ हियरिंग. When intensity of sound is just equal to the threshold of hearing, the sound will be just audible. If intensity is more than threshold of hearing, very much audible. And if it is less than threshold of hearing, not audible. Okay?
Yes.
Now, how intensity of sound is related to loudness? There is a loudness level. L is equal to log I over I naught to the base 10. This is threshold of hearing, and this is the intensity of sound whose loudness level you want to find out. L is loudness level. Okay, so the unit of loudness level in this case will be bell. And if you take L by this formula, then unit will be decibel. Decibel, loudness level. Sometime what happens? In a class, teacher is delivering lecture, the backbencher complains, "Sir, speak louder. Your voice is not audible." पीछे वाला backbencher सुन नहीं पा रहा. क्यों? भैया, are you hard of hearing? Teacher says, क्या कह रहे हो? सुन नहीं पा रहे? नहीं सर, perfectly all right. Biologically मेरा कान बिल्कुल perfect है. फिर क्यों नहीं सुन रहे? एक और फैक्टर आ जाता है उसमें कि इंटेंसिटी ऑफ साउंड इनवर्सली प्रोपोर्शनल टू डिस्टेंस होल स्केल. अगर आप स्पीकर से दूर हैं तो इंटेंसिटी विल ओबे इनवर्स के लॉ. intensity will be inversely proportional to the square of the distance. Observer और speaker, source और listener में अगर ज़्यादा distance है तो intensity कम हो जाएगी. Intensity कम होने से loudness level कम हो जाएगा. ठीक है ना? कई बार if you are tuned to radio and there is a musical sound, a song is being telecast or broadcast by the radio of your choice. You want to hear? तो थोड़ा वॉल्यूम बढ़ा दो, आवाज़ कम आ रही है. वॉल्यूम बढ़ाने का क्या मतलब? लाउडनेस लेवल बढ़ाओ. लाउडनेस क्या मतलब? इंटेंसिटी बढ़ाओ. Intensity is related to loudness level. This is the formula by which they are related to each other. Okay? If, let us say, if I is equal to I naught, then loudness level will be 0. This is normal sound. Normal. देखो I is equal to I naught. Okay, when I is equal to I naught, the sound will be just audible. Loudness level will be 0. This is normal sound. सुन तो रहे हो, just audible. Okay. If I is, let us suppose 10 times I naught, the intensity of sound, 10 times the threshold of hearing, then loudness level will be how much? Make use of this formula. If you want loudness level in bell, bell is the unit of loudness level. It can be decibel. 10 times decibel is 1 bell. 10 times कर दिया ना इधर. Now this I is 10 times I naught. So 10 times I naught over I naught will give you log 10 to the base 10. 1 multiplied by 10. Loudness level will be 10 decibel or 1 bell. If it is 10 times I naught, okay, so 10 I naught over I naught will be 10, log of 10 to the base 10 will give you 1. That is 1 bell. 1 bell is 10 decibel. So here loudness level will be 10 decibel. 10 dB. Decibel. Short symbol is dB. Sound will be very much audible because intensity is 10 times the threshold of hearing. Got my point? So you can express one of the musical characteristics of musical sound, loudness, in terms of bell or decibel, and intensity is not equal to loudness. Intensity is related to loudness. Loudness, intensity, they are related to each other by this formula. Clear?
Yes, sir.
And threshold of hearing 10 to the minus 12 joule per second per meter square. Just audible sound. इससे कम इंटेंसिटी हुई, not audible. Okay, you may be 100% biologically perfect. आपके कान में कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, पर नहीं सुन पाओगे अगर इंटेंसिटी से कम. अब कुंभकर्ण कहते 6 महीने सोता था, जब युद्ध हुआ तो ढोल बजाए गए, कुंभकर्ण उठो, नींद नहीं खुलती थी. जो साउंड स्लीप में होगा तो उसमें आप जितने मर्जी लेवल की साउंड प्रोड्यूस कर दो, तो ये उसका रिस्पांस नहीं दे रहा. साउंड स्लीप में है वो. पॉइंट. और जो हार्ड ऑफ हियरिंग है, बहरा है, तो जितने मर्जी लाउडनेस की साउंड उसको क्रिएट कर दो, वो नहीं सुन पाएगा. बायोलॉजिकली डिफेक्ट हो गया ना. आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट a listener who is biologically perfect. not hard of hearing, there is no defect in the human ear. The minimum intensity which can be detected by human ear is of 10 to minus 12 watt per meter square. And corresponding to this, if I is I naught, just sound will be here and loudness level will be 0 level. This is what is happening normally. Clear? If I is less than I naught, then loudness level will be negative. This ratio will be less than 1. I is less than I naught, ratio will be less than 1 when you take log of a number which is in decimal, so it will come out to be negative. So we will call as, it is murmuring. कहते ना मर्मरिंग कर रहा है, मुंह में ही बोल रहा है, सुन तो रहा नहीं क्या कह रहा है, कहते हैं ना लाउडनेस लेवल इतना कम है, ऑडिबल ही नहीं है. इन टर्म्स ऑफ फिजिक्स इट इज मर्मरिंग. Got my point? So one of the factors, musical sound, loudness, relative to intensity. In different cases we have taken, if loudness level, generally if two people are talking and third person is not able to hear, और पास आता है क्या बोल रहे हैं. Okay, yeah, if you take this example, I am delivering lecture and you are listening. What should be the loudness level in this case? If somebody says speak louder, loudness level will increase, intensity will increase. Okay, or if I speak with such a intensity and with such a loudness level, you will not be in a position to, you would not like to listen. Then we'll say it is a noise pollution. And if you go on the road, listen horn of the truck, horn of Maruti, okay, और उधर मान लो barking of dog, अच्छा लगेगा. ठीक है, loudness level कितना होना चाहिए? If loudness level is up to 80, okay, there is no noise pollution. If loudness level is more than 80 decibel, we will say it is a noise pollution. क्या कहते हैं noise pollution?
सर ये global वैल्यू है फिर रीजन टू रीजन वेरी करता है?
नहीं globally.
सर फोन चार्जिंग पे लगा दे.
कहाँ? आ गई लाइट? Yes.
आवाज आई ना फ्रिज की.
Okay. So
अरे उधर नीचे ना एक्सटेंशन बोर्ड
मेरा भी लगा दीजिए.
sound between 30 decibel to 60 decibel, this loudness level you will find in a classroom. When there is a conversation between two friends, the loudness level will be almost 30 decibel. Okay, अगर slide आ गई. Now, if you want the third person should also hear the sound, then you have to increase the loudness level. You have to increase it above 30 decibel. 40 कर लो, 50 कर लो. Okay? So second characteristic of musical sound is pitch.
सर 10 डेसिबल हार्डली ऑडिबल होता है ना?
10 decibel 10 टाइम है ना?
अच्छा हाँ जी सर, ठीक है.
Intensity is 10 times the threshold of hearing.
Yes sir.
Just audible is when intensity is equal to threshold of hearing, whose value is 10 to the minus 12 watt per meter square. That sound is just audible. If intensity of sound is more than that, very much audible. Less than I naught, not audible. We'll say murmuring. When loudness level is 0, it is normal sound. Okay? Now, then second factor is pitch. Pitch is not equal to frequency. Pitch will give you the shrillness of sound. How shrill the sound is, that it will be decided by the pitch. Though it is related to frequency is high, pitch will be high and sound will be more shrill. If you want to differentiate the sound produced by a girl and a boy, the sound generated by a girl is of high pitch as compared to the sound produced by boy. Similarly, if you compare the sound generated by dholak and tabla sound is more shrill. It is of higher pitch, higher frequency. Okay? You might have seen written on audio video system, bass, BASS,
Yes, sir.
treble, TREBLE, low pitch sound and high pitch sound, differentiated by bass and treble. बास है ट्रैवल है इसका OPS 3399 कोई भी डाल दो ओके ट्रैवल बास they are sounds of different pitches, different frequencies. Okay, if you compare the sound generated by tabla and dholak, tabla sound will be of high pitch, high frequency, more shrill.
सर मतलब जिस भी इंस्ट्रूमेंट की पिच हाई है
Frequency high है, pitch high है, shrillness shrillness ज़्यादा है.
उसकी बेस ज्यादा होगी
उसकी जो साउंड होगी वो ज़्यादा shrill होगी, तिखी होगी, पतली होगी.
तो मतलब पिच और बेस का कोई रिलेशन नहीं है एक दूसरे का.
पिच का
और बेस का.
बेस कौन सा?
बास
Bass और treble.
हाँ, उसमें है लो पिच है तो ट्रेबल है, हाई पिच है तो बास है. ठीक है ना, वो तो एक्सट्रीम बात है. गट में भाई वो तो एक्सट्रीम है. लो पिच है कि हाई पिच है, ट्रेबल है कि बास है. ठीक है ना. तो यहाँ पिच इज रिलेटेड टू shrillness ऑफ द साउंड. तो जो साउंड प्रोड्यूस्ड बाय तबला इज मोर shrill. It has high pitch, high frequency. Sound produced by a cat and a lion, roaring of lion, and sound produced by a cat, they are of different pitches, different frequencies. Sound produced by the voice of cat is of higher pitch, high shrillness. Okay, so this is how you can check the shrillness with the help of pitch, and pitch can be tested by the frequency. Then sometime what happens? Two speakers, they have same loudness, same pitch, but still they are differentiated. If you give one song to two different actors, like give same dialogue, give to Shah Rukh Khan, and same dialogue you give to Amitabh Bachchan, and request them to speak the same dialogue, okay, and still you will find, because of the quality of sound, you will be in a position to differentiate. They may produce sound of same loudness, same pitch, but still sounds can be differentiated by the third factor, that is the quality. Quality, other name is timbre. What do you mean by quality? Quality means, quality is described by the mixture of overtone, overtones. You know the fundamental frequency, first note, then higher notes are overtones. A sound which contains more number of overtones, more higher and higher harmonics, more higher and higher notes, will have better quality. ओके। साउंड जिसके अंदर ओवरटोन ज्यादा है उसकी क्वालिटी बेटर है, जिसके अंदर हायर हायर नोट्स ज्यादा हैं। आपको बताया कि अगर आप कोई एक लेटर भी बोलते हैं, कोई इंग्लिश का वावल है या हिंदी का स्वर है जिसकी अपनी वॉइस है, ओके। जैसे इफ यू से ये सिक के इसे बोलो चल, क्या है वावल है कॉन्सोनेंट है?
कॉन्सोनेंट।
इट हैज
साउंड ऑफ ए।
साउंड ऑफ सम वावल, ओके। ए के बिना आप के नहीं बोल सकते, ओके। तो ए ई आई ओ यू, these are the vowels and the rest of the 21 they are consonants.
पापा ये बात करने से
वो बड़ा करके देख लो,
कर दिया, हमने दो तरीके से कर लिया।
OPS @,
एट द रेट
हाँ, 3399. If you pronounce K and find the sound generated by pronouncing K, it will have many frequencies. The lowest frequency, which is called note or fundamental frequency, and the other frequencies will be multiple of the fundamental, they are called overtone. And find out how many overtones are there in K. More overtone, better quality. Even if loud and pitch are same. क्योंकि जब आप इसको बोलोगे तो साउंड की लाउडनेस भी तो होगी ना, लाउडनेस लेवल भी तो होगा कि आप दूसरा सुन सकता है कि नहीं, इसकी इंटेंसिटी मोर देन थ्रेशोल्ड ऑफ हियरिंग है कि नहीं, ओके। फिर उसकी फ्रीक्वेंसी भी होगी। लेकिन जब आप किसी भी लेटर का आप उसको प्रोनाउंस करते हैं तो जो साउंड जनरेट होती है दैट इज नॉट ऑफ ए सिंगल फ्रीक्वेंसी। जैसे ट्यूनिंग फोर्क है, ट्यूनिंग फोर्क प्रॉम को जब आप स्ट्राइक करते हैं तो ट्यूनिंग फोर्क में सिर्फ एक ही फ्रीक्वेंसी जो उस पर लिखी है स्टैम्प पर 512 हर्ट्ज है या 256 हर्ट्ज है या 480 हर्ट्ज है, वो सेम एक ही सिंगल फ्रीक्वेंसी जनरेट होगी। इट कंटेन्स ओनली वन फ्रीक्वेंसी। लेकिन अदरवाइज जब आप कुछ बोलते हैं तो उसमें देयर आर मेनी फ्रीक्वेंसीज इन द मिक्सर, क्लियर। तो सम टाइम टू स्पीकर दे will have a sound which will have same loudness level, same pitch, but still they are differentiated, and they are differentiated because of the quality of sound. Quality of sound means a sound which
Mixture of
contains number of overtones, and the quality of that sound is better. If you compare the sound produced by open organ pipe and closed organ pipe, you will find in open organ pipe all frequencies are generated. Minimum 2 times, 3 times, 4 times the fundamental, but in case of open organ pipe only odd multiple. Lowest, then 3 times of the lowest, 5 times of the lowest. Okay, the first overtone has frequency 3 times the frequency of the first note, fundamental. And even multiple of fundamental they are missing. The sound generated by open organ pipe contains all harmonics, but sound produced by closed organ pipe has only odd multiple of the fundamental frequency. Even multiple are missing. So that means the quality of sound generated by open organ pipe will be better than the quality of sound generated by closed organ pipe, because the open organ pipe sound produced as all the multiple of fundamental frequency. No frequency is missing. That will contain every harmony, every overtone. That's the point. So therefore, the musical sound has 3 characteristics: loudness, pitch and quality. Loudness is related to intensity, pitch is related to frequency, and then quality is related to number of overtones contained in the sound produced by any sounding body. Therefore, 2 sources having same loudness, same pitch, they may have different quality. Okay, कई बार होता है ना कि आपके घर में कोई आ गया, आपने उसने आपको आवाज़ लगाई तो आपने एकदम उसको देखा भी नहीं, पहचान लिया, अरे वो ये तो मेरा दूसरा वो फ्रेंड है, वो बोल रहा है। क्योंकि आप उसकी जो साउंड से वाकिफ़ हैं, उसकी लाउडनेस क्या है, पिच क्या है, वो तीखा बोलता है, पतला बोलता है, लाउडनेस धीरे बोलता है, लाउडनेस लेवल उसका ज़्यादा है, दो चीज़ें तो आपको पता है ना, फिर क्वालिटी ऑफ साउंड भी पता है। इसलिए बिना देखे आप स्पीकर को पहचान लेते हैं। ये ढोलकी बज रही है कि तबला बज रहा है, आप पहचान सकते हैं। ओके, ये शेर की आवाज़ है कि ये बिल्ली की आवाज़ है, आप पहचान सकते हैं भाई कि कौन सी गाड़ी का हॉर्न है, उसने कैसी साउंड जनरेट की है, उसकी लाउडनेस लेवल क्या है, उसका पिच क्या है, उसकी क्वालिटी ऑफ साउंड कैसी है, आप पहचान लेते हैं बिना देखे।
चलो फिर चीता और कैट की आवाज़ तो सेम ही होती है, तो उससे मतलब कैसे?
सेम नहीं हो सकती
सर सच में आपने
आप उसको इतना माइनर डिफरेंस होता है, आप उसको रिकॉग्नाइज नहीं कर पाए, डजंट मीन कि वो सेम है। लेवल लाउडनेस लेवल में डिफरेंस हो सकता है, पिच में डिफरेंस हो सकता है, चाहे वो माइनर डिफरेंस हो, क्वालिटी में भी डिफरेंस हो सकता है। एक में 4 ओवरटोन है, दूसरे में 5 ओवरटोन है, तो आपको लगता है कि डिफरेंस नहीं है। Okay, if you are unable to find out the difference, it doesn't mean that there is no difference. Okay?
Yes.
So, this was regarding musical sound, difference between musical sound and noise, and then the characteristics of musical sound.